Right. We should know that why we are supposed to address this concept. Basic understanding that means that all these interconnecting concepts, let's say, all these things will be eliminated as concept. That is the basic concept. If you are doing some concept, completing some service arrangement or any arrangement, in between two companies, you can consider that as one entity, all these concepts should be eliminated. Right? Set of activity within contributing for this segment element. Remember that once we are going to merge this separate segment within one company, we had a separate person called adjustments. And a separate person called adjustments. But we are going to merge this separate segment. Why? There are some inter-company, inter-segment adjustment, inter-segment concept. Once we are assuming that as one single entity, what we need to do? We need to eliminate inter-segment transfer. But here what we are going to do? Here we have separate companies, right? Individually they have a counter. Now we are going to merge that. Now we are going to add all together as one single entity. At that point, what we are supposed to do? At the third point, all these transactions should be eliminated. Right? As in the class we are having receivables and payables. One company having receivable, the same amount should be there. That is but what the reason? They are mainly some of errors or some margin and miss some concept last point. Or the transaction duplicate. All this can happen. Then what we need to do? What we supposed to do? First, we need to select that error and then eliminate it. Remember that? All this we discussed. Same way, then we are going to start with intercompany loans and borrowings. Right? Only before the class. We need to eliminate interest expense and interest payables and receivables. Okay. We can put the topic intercompany loan and borrowings. Write the topic. Intercompany loan borrowings. Right. The lower amount. The lower amount. The lower amount will be appear. Yeah, here. As a liability. As a liability. Liability. Liability to one entity and asset to other entity. As a liability to one entity and asset other entity. Other entity. The company was granted the loan. The company was granted the loan. The company was granted the loan. Granted the loan. To recognize that asset. To recognize that asset. And the receiving party to recognize that liability. To recognize that liability. And that's a liability. Normally, this asset and the liability should tally. Normally, this asset and the liability should equal or tally. Equal. Once you are completing, once you are doing it of this asset and liability balances should be reversed. Once you are completing it of investment, this asset and liability balance should be eliminated. In paragraph. Both parties can recognize related interest, income and expense in their books. Both parties may have recognized. Parties they have recognized interest, income and expense. Interest, income and expense in their books. Their yes, income and expense, right? Yes, income and expense. They have understanding. So the party who are taking the loan, it's expect to them, right? Party who are giving the loan, income to them, right? Normally, this income and expense will be tallied. Normally, it will be tallied. Sometimes, your loan balance in by company may not be tallied. What's the reason? Then one company has quoted one customer company. And maybe recording. Otherwise, we have the normal the normal amount from lending party to other party be equal for that. Here we are discussing about interest, income, and expense. Right? Interest, income, and expense may have two modes. What is that? Sometimes interest expense already been paid. Otherwise, it will be accrued. Right? Writing. Interest, income, and expense. Interest, income, and expense. Maybe paid or paid or it will be accrued. Will be the accrued status. Will be in accrued status. Accrued rental, paid rental. You pay interest or accrued interest. Whatever the mode, all interest, income, and expense will be eliminated from the books of whatever the mode. All the interest, income, and expense should be eliminated consolidated financial statements. Consolidated financial statements. Right. Example. The parent entity has granted a loan worth 10 million to subsidiary company B. Subsidiary company B on 30th June 2025. Right. As per the agreement, the loan amount should be paid. The loan amount should be paid equal annual 5 installments. Equal annual 5 installments. The installment will be paid. The installment will be paid after completing 12 months. After completing 12 months. The interest rate. The interest rate is 15%. Required. If a company is a company adjustments. For the year ended 31st December 2026, sorry, 2025. 2025. For the year 2025. We're supposed to do this in the management. First, we need to replace the what happened in two parts. We are having the company A. We are having company A. Company A is the parent. Company B is the subsidiary. Right? Company A's book. Loan given to B. What is this account? It's a liability or asset. Huh? Take a theory like that, first theory. Then, the theory like that, what different parts in it. The asset account, it is given to B. The asset account, 10 million. 10 million. Once you are giving that, it called as cash. Right? Cash or balance. So this will reflect in here. Loan from A, it is 10 million. Again, cash. It's a liability. That's what I told you. This 10 million, normally tally is 10 million. That's why we wrote it in the books. So this transaction was happened when? Transaction was happened 30th June. 30th June. So we are preparing financial statements 31st December 2025. So interest should be accrued for only 6 months. Only 6 months, right? Only 6 months. Have you paid milestone? Not paid. Why? After 12 months, but already you should accrue the interest for 6 months. Then what you have done? What you have done? Here for 6 months, 10 million into 15% into 6 by 12. You should accrue the interest. Both parties, right? Both parties have interest. How are you going to accrue the interest? Normally, once after having the loan over the silver, once the actually interest. How about the entry we have A? We need to debit here, credit to where? On account negative credit 20. Huh? මොකද්ද මේ account එක? Interest interest income till account credit. Why is that? What's the category of that account? Credit, right? It is getting credit. It's going to credit here. Debit 20 කොහාටද? Debit 20 මේ account, right? How much? 0.75. 0.75. 0.75 is මෙතනින් එන්නේ. Right? 0.75. 0.75 means 750,000. Right? 750,000. 750,000 credit here, debit here. Right? This is the entries we have already passed. On an example, with both companies has recorded as presenting. We assume that actually the interest has been recorded. some other graph, sometimes they have not recorded interest. It is so that supposed to remove it. You don't need to remove it. Some instance, both parties have some recorded and remove it. Some instance, examining and you only parent entity has recorded their positions. It is so accordingly you will know. Adjust need to pass the entries, but here we assume it's a perfect scenario. What is that? Loan has been recorded, accrued interest has been recorded by both parties. Right? It's a perfect scenario. Then what you are going to do? You can see this asset balance, sorry, this liability balance tally with this asset balance. First step, reverse the capital amount. Reverse the capital amount with accrued interest. How we are going to put the capital amount? $10.75 debit here. Debit here, credit here. Right? This is the double entry. Debit here, credit here. Interest expense. Interest expense. Credit here, debit here. This income, here we can say interest expense. We are going to reverse the capital and the interest. Capital and the interest. Okay? You can see this income, interest income, this entry happened where? It is happening in the parent entity books, right? In other words, this will debit to කොහාටද මේක debit වෙන්නේ? මේකට දානවා කියනවා වෙනුවට අපිට තව එකක් කියන්න පුළුවන්. මොකක්ද? You should adjust all the impact to P and L to digest to consolidated earnings. Right? In other words, interest income account debit. In other words, we can say that consolidated earnings debit. Right? Here, interest expense credit. In other words, subsidiary return earnings credit. What is the impact here? Income and debit, you know? Income and debit. Income and Debit better. Expenses are credited. Income debit. Expenses credited. The impact will be zero. Again, put it zero. That is right. This will impact to two different results. Here the impact come to consolidated earnings. Here impact come to subsidiary return earnings. Once we are finalizing subsidiary return earnings account, once we are completing subsidiary return earnings account, however, we should do that. End of the day, we should split the subsidiary return earnings account to the percentage and we need to one portion should go into NCI and consolidated, right? Then the impact should be separated. Because of that, there's an impact to NCI and consolidated. Because of that, we should pass the same thing. Otherwise, you can say that this is an entry. Once we are assuming as a one single entity, why we are putting an entry debit credit to income and expense? It is a zero impact. We can argue, but you should understand this debit entry will pass to consolidated earnings. Credit entry will be passed to subsidiary return earnings. Subsidiary return earnings in balance should be split to where? One part to NCI, other part to consolidated earnings. Because of that, we should be supposed to pass this entry both accounts, both return earnings and both return earnings account, consolidated earnings and return earnings account, right? Those are additional understand. Moderate understand කරන ළමෙක්ට ඒක තේරෙන්න තියෙනවා. නැත්නම් ඔයා අමතක කරලා දාගන්න. නැත්නම් ඔයා අතේ ලියාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ මේ එන්ට්‍රි දෙක විතර. මොකද එන්ට්‍රි දෙක? කැපිටල් එක රිවර්ස් කරන ගානේ. ඉන්ටරෙස්ට් රිවර්ස් කරන. ඒවා ලියාගෙන දෙකේ එන්ට්‍රි දාගත්තා වගේ ඉන්නවා. කැපිටල් රිවර්ස් එන්ට්‍රි කියලා දාගන්න ලියාගන්න. මේක මේ චිත්‍රය අඳගන්න නම් මාට බෑ අපහැදිලි වෙන්නේ. First step එක මොකක්ද? You should reverse the capital. What's the entry? What's the entry? Debit to loan account in subsidiary company. Credit to loan granting account in the entity. That's the first step. Second step, interest reversal. Interest reversal. Interest reversal लेके चावल में ना कितने किया है? हमारी डेवलपमेंट और that may be this example, it means subsidiary company can give you a loan to parent entity. In that scenario, we come to pass same entries. Same entries to Different scenarios. Different scenarios. The subsidiary perspective. The subsidiary perspective. Subsidiary perspective. Granting party. Granting party. And that's scenario. We are sometimes to pass. We are sometimes to pass. They may fix. They may fix the opposite account. They may fix opposite account. Accounts. They may pass accounts. Accounts. Okay, there is a man. Whatever the science of way, maybe whatever that's it. Remember that we calculate the account handle interest, right? Remember that. But our time, you are thinking it will be advanced. You need to pass this entry if you are preparing only if you are preparing income. Otherwise, you're supposed to pass to return earnings. There's no interest income and expense accounts. Right? I told you, once that I think about another entry, once I think interest income. Interest income, yes, related to that. Interest expense, something related. But scenario, once you are doing your PAD, you are doing your PAD, you have to pass this income. If you are doing only the balance sheet, then the man can ask differently, right? He can ask sometimes, he transfer balance sheet. You need to pass the same thing and come to the register. If you decided about the income statement, what are supposed to pass in this income and expense? What you have to do? We are having that. There is a consolidated register. I will say 100% why no one is here. Income statement, pass it, right? It's a specification. Otherwise, also interest income, interest expense. For that, you need to pass it. If you are console only the balance sheet, it is 100% acquired something. No NCN. No pass, right? After that is with the life of also in the negative. Why interest income, borrowings, related matters sorted. What's the next adjustment? What's the next adjustment? Once we are having a benefit services. Once we are having better services. One party has recognized, one party has recognized. The income, another party, one party has recognized. The income, and other party records and an expense. Or other party at the point of consolidation, both income and expense will be eliminated. Both income and expense will be eliminated. Example, a company acquired by 80% of 80% of the hotel company called B. Okay. After acquisition, the company has provided hotel management services to the subsidiary company. Hotel management to the company. Hotel management services to the subsidiary company. The worth of service for the year, 700,000. The KR 700,000. The required cost consolidated. The required cost consolidated. This is how they have recorded. You understand that they have paid it by cash. Sometimes you may get approved. So how they have recorded it? Yeah, record they have already paid. That's what they are mentioning. That's cash, right? They have not paid in cash. They have recorded this as intergovernmental receivable payment, right? Intergovernmental receivable payment. Here, they have paid in cash. What we are supposed to do then? Entry to Adani Formula. This expense account credit, this income account debit. එතන අපි ලියනවා මොකක් කියලාද? expense කියලා. income කියලා. In other words, consolidated earnings debit, subsidy return earnings credit. Keep remember that. In other words, subsidy return earnings credit, consolidated earnings debit. ඒ මම කියන එක තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අහන්න. Subsidy return earnings, consolidated earnings කියන. You should assume that this is paid. If the examiner is silent, you should put an assumption. No, subsidiary accounts subsidiary return is not credit. Then what are we going to do? See, subsidiary return is the down. Now make a headwind නැත්තම්. වාහනේ balance sheet විතර නම් මේක නෑ. වාගේ තියෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? Subsidiary return earnings, right? Here we have a balance, right? You are going to credit that here, 750. Then finally what you are going to do? You are going to balance this, right? Balance this, you have a balance here, 1,000, right? 1 million. 1 million, what you are going to do? 80% consolidated return earnings, 20% NCI. That's why we are putting here, right? You should make up karane then. Only understanding why we have already done this. Subsidiary return earnings. Fine. Once you are completing subsidiary return in account, then a final stage is what? You should split that subsidiary return in account. One part to consolidated earnings. Again, on a maker. May part take what then? Make it the consolidated earnings. Right? Price last 2 years we surprise. From the main you will have to farm it. Then can you now taking consolidated by the first year at the that's the also last second एक में environment में बात एक आगे सिचुएशन सिचुएशन का सिचुएशन में आपने क्या नॉर्मल एक क्या है नॉर्मल सिचुएशन ऐसा था ये ना the first day of the activity consolidation don't miss any text. You are missing it. You are missing your life from the beginning of the subject. You are missing your life. You are losing the 1.5 million you pay to that taxes. Right? There's a kind of services that now we have one government is completely right. Yeah. Reporting in the express account. There's an express account in other words. In other words, it is the is transfer period. Yeah, express account most of the cases we know that all the behaviors then I'm slowly Rent can be divided into two, right? Rent will be divided into two, short-term rent and long-term rent. What do you mean by that? What's the difference? Why we are learning this in a different ways? Any idea? Long-term rent, short-term rent. Have you learned this in past subjects? Yes, you have. When? Once you are learning financial reporting, right? You learned about Telefares 16. ROUA. ROUA. Long term means more than 1 year normal. Long term means more than 1 year. More than 1 year. Here, less than 1. Short-term rent, less than 1 year. No need to discuss. It is like a intercompany sales. One party has recorded income, other party has recorded an expense. You need to eliminate it. Right? It's a short-term rent. Short-term rent means you have given maybe some one type of a premises or land for 6 months. For 6 months. For 6 months, rent expense may be 500,000. 500,000. This 500,000, one company has recorded as expense, other company has recorded as income. It's like a service income. We need to eliminate both income and expense. Straightforward, right? No worries about this. But once you are coming to here, it is long-term rent. Long-term rent may be more than 1 year. More than 1 year. More than 1 year. What's the implication? The party who are getting this, we have two parties, right? Here, parent and the subsidiary. Parent and the subsidiary. Parent can give, subsidiary can give. The party who are getting it may recognize ROUA. The party who are giving it, it is asset to them. Right? It is an asset to them. And both parties are recognized asset and it's been the ROUA liability. What we supposed to do? We need to eliminate this transaction. Another critical thing is if it is relating to investment property. If it is related to investment property, IP. IP. That IP should be classified as PP&E at the consolidated stage. IP means investment property can move out. We have a separate standard. What is that? In a case 40. In a case 40 IP, investment properties. What's the investment property? Oh. Close, right? Particular building, 10 crores will be there. Out of 10 crores, 8 crores are investment properties. And the other 7 crores are PPI. Same asset, same building, 3 crores investment property, 7 crores PPI. That's the reason. This 3 crores we are using for entry purpose. And the 7 crores we are using for operational purpose. Operational purpose. So that is the classification. We are using for renting purpose of capital acquisition. Right? If this renting process relates to a property, they may identify as one party. The party who are giving it may identify as IP. The party who are receiving it, they have identified as ROUA. Right? ROUA. Once you are recognizing ROUA, asset account debit, credit to AM. Liability, this liability, right? What we need to do, you have to set off ROUA asset versus the lease liability. There is no such a lease. There's no such a ROUA. Okay, so you need to eliminate ROUA. ROUA asset ROUA. Brown paper for a keyword. ROUA asset kill can ROUA. ROUA should reverse with the ROUA should reverse with the lease liability. Lease liability. Right? And then the party who are giving it, then income should be eliminated. Then income should be eliminated. And then the asset classification should be reclassified from investment property to property, plant and equipment. Right? Property, plant and equipment. What's the reason for that? Something. If you are negative properties, it will be subsidies and benefits. One party can recognize that as an investment property, and another party can recognize that as an ROUA. So once you are completing all the adjustments, also the data products, this investment property will be classified to BPNE. Oh, classifying investment property, we have two purposes for that. Capital acquisition or renting purpose. If we are using for administration or maybe management purpose, that is classified as EPLE. Right? We are using for management or administrative purpose, otherwise it is a EPLE. Right? You can think loud about the scenario. Once you are renting out from parent to subsidiary, parent is individual tools. It was recognized as a IP. Why? As a single entity, we are not that using for administration or management purpose. Right? Because of that, in individual tools of the parent, it is a IP. Right? Right? So, one consolidation, what is the other situation? We are going to merge the subsidiary and the parent. Once is we actually that as one single technique. Once you consolidate follow. Now that parent company and subsidiary company, we are actually that as one single entity. There is such a renting. We have not rented out the subsidiary property is using for administration purpose of the parent property can use it for administration purpose of the subsidiary company. As one-single entity, we have not printed out anything outside. Right? We are using for admin purpose. Right? Because of that, once we are doing consolidation, whatever the classified IP in individual level, maybe from parent or maybe from subsidiary, once we are doing consolidated column, we reclassify to PPIP. PPE classified in the serum. IP කියන එක සේරම PPE කියලා වෙනස් කරන්න. ඒක ගන්න IP කියනවා දෙන්නේ මොන වෙලාවද print කරොත් තමයි IP කියලා කියන්නේ. subsidiary එකේ print කරොත් parent එකේ IP කියලා කියන්නේ looks. හැබැයි දෙකම එකක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් කවුරුද parent property එක subsidiary administration purpose of use. Right? If it is so, if we assume that as a one single entity, parent and subsidiary now is one. If it is so, have we given any property for entity purpose now? If the entity got to print the error, right? Why we found because one single person once your father doing consolidation, for him, it is not a printed. Why? As a one single function, you have not printed out anything to outside. Okay. Everything. As a one single entity, you have not printed out anything to outside. First, they use it that way. Right? If you are not getting it, let me know. I will explain it again. This will be the explanation. Parent subsidiary, right? Parent subsidiary දැන් අහ ගන්න ඕන. Right? Parent subsidiary. Parent may have PP&E. Parent may have IP. Right? Subsidiary may have PPE. IP. PPE, IP, difference should be with you. PPE normally using for what? The definition clearly saying that we are using this PP&E for administration, operation, manufacturing, management purpose of the operation. Right? We don't have a selling purpose. And the purpose is what? management or operational or administration purpose. But here purpose is rent or capital appreciation. Make a consolidation name, make a grade 2 knowledge. Grade 2, once you're learning PP&E and IP, you should know the difference between investment property and the PP&E. Right? You are learning how we are transfer PP to investment property, inventory to investment property, inventory to PP&E. You are learning that. What's the accounting treatment? Okay. That's a different story. In the same way, subsidiary company also having PP&E and IP. Again, the same classification. Right? So once you are coming to consolidation, this rent, this parent entity rented, you may have two parties. What is there? What are they? මෙයාට දෙන්න දීලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. outside කෙනෙක්ට දීලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Here we have rent. මෙයාට දීලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. outside කෙනෙක්ට දීලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. They can rent because of that outside of parent entity. Parent entity can you rent to outsider or subsidiary company. Right? Okay. Once you are doing consolidation, then තමයි මතක නා අපි console කරනවා කියලා දැන්. Consolidation. මොකද වෙන්නේ? parent උයි subsidiary එක එකතු වෙනවා නේද? ඔයා මැරි කරාම ඔයා හිතනවනේ අපි දෙදෙනා දැන් දෙදෙනෙකු නොකරවා. එහෙමනේ කියන්නේ නේ. වත් දෙන්නම එක්කෙනෙක් විදිහට හිතන්න ගන්න. දෙන්නේ එක්කෙනෙක් විදිහට හිතන්න ගත්තොත් at the point of thinking as one, right? You have rented to subsidiary. Subsidiary has rented to parent. Right? ඔයා rent කරාට පස්සේ එයා use කරන්නේ මොකටද? එයාගේ admin purpose එක. එයාගේ office premises එක තියෙන්නේ ඒකේ. You have rented, parent rented to subsidiary. Parent rented to subsidiary company doing operation in that premises. Right? Subsidiary rented to parent doing that operation in the subsidiary premises. Once you are coming to consolidation as one single entity, you can think that as a one entity, there's no anything outside we have rented. We are using for admin purpose, right? We are using for management and operational purpose as a one entity. Right? Because of that, whatever these scenarios, right? This scenario and this scenario. මොනවද මේ scenario දෙක? Parent rented to subsidiary. Individual groups represent IP. But once you are coming to consolidation, we should classify as PPE. Why? One entity, we are using for both company admin purpose. As a one entity, we have not rented out to anyone else outside. Because of that, we need to reclassify from IP to PP&E. That clear? That's a very critical analysis. Conceptual analysis. This will be tested. If you remember that. Then this PPIP concept is clear. That is under party who are giving it. PPIP classification. The party who are getting it, they have recorded ROUA, individual books. Right? Individual books. Now we are coming to that. Now we are coming to that. Now we are coming to here. දැන් ඔය සේරම scenarios ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. මොනවද scenarios? Rent, IPO, other assets. Right? IPO, other asset. So we are getting this as a IP. Right? When me example එක තමයි ගන්න. Investment property. Right? Investment property. Again, we are having a scenario, two scenarios. What is that? Investment property. Investment property to the parent, to the subsidiary. Two scenarios. අපි ඒකෙනුත් ගන්න මොකක්ද? parent කියන එක ගන්නවා. Example එකක් විදිහට. Right? You should know where we are, right? Then we are having example. A company is the parent. Parent has rented a building for 3 years to the subsidiary. 3 years mean? 3 years mean? 3 years mean long-term rent, right? Rent a building mean is the IP. Parent has given, right? So what are the implications here? What are the implications here? Let's say what you know proven. Wage rent එක annual rent එක 500,000. Annual rent 500,000. Annual rent 500,000. IBR 12%. IBR can incremental borrowing rate 12. ඇයි ඒක දුන්නේ එහෙම? Incremental borrowing rate එකට ඇයි rent එකට දුන්නේ loan එකක් වගේද මේකට? පාරුවේ calculate incremental borrowing rate එක ඕන. Right? How they have recorded this transaction by parent and subsidiary. Parent and subsidiary. Now you should understand how they have recorded in the books of both parties. After identifying both party books, then and there you need to set off all these things. You need to identify both parties' accounts. Right? Subsidiary has recorded ROUA. ROUA. Parents had recorded IP, investment property, and rent income. Rent income, right? Rent income. IP and the rent income. Then this ROUA, once you are recognizing ROUA, debit, credit, lease creditor, lease liability. They have recognized both. Then we are supposed to reverse this. We are supposed to reverse this with this. Right? And second step, we need to reclassify this IP to PPE. We have two steps. What is that? You need to reverse the recognized ROUA with lease creditor and rent income of the parent entity. Rent income එකයි ROUA එකයි lease creditor තුනම reverse කරන්න. මේ තුනම equal වෙනවා. There's no any rent in between parties. Right? Then and there, we need to do a reclassification as well. IP to PP&E. These are the two steps you need to follow. Right? These are the two steps we are supposed to follow. How we are going to, can you do the accounts first? These two companies? The company they or record can you do that first, please? කොහොමද ලියන්නේ? මෙහෙම ලියන්න. Parent. Parent. Subsidiary. How are you going to calculate ROUA? Right of use asset? For 3 year period. 3 year period. 1, 2, 3. For 3 years, you are supposed to calculate the ROUA. How are you going to calculate? For 1 year, 500,000. Right? Calculate right of use asset, please, quickly. So these are the entries. These are the entries in the subsidiary books. For your ROUA. I hope this is clear for you. Make a book chart here then. Why? You should know it's. Are you okay? Why? Why is that? ROUA recognition. What is this? This is a monthly, sorry, annual rent. What is this? 3 years annuity factor. Right? 3 years annuity factor එක මේකද? නැත්නම් ඔයාලට කොහොමද කරන්න පුළුවන්? මම මොකද කරන්න ඕන? දැන් මම මේක ROUA කියලා දෙන්න වෙන්නේ. ඔයා අවුරුදු 3කට කීය ගාණ ගෙවනවද මේකට? ඉල් දෙන්නකට. ඒක තේරෙනවද? අවුරුදු 3ට 500,000 ගාණ ගෙවනවා. Right? 500,000, 500,000, 500,000. How we are going to recognize ROUA? You need to present value this. You need to present value this. You need to present value this. By using 12% rate. Once you are present valuing same value for 3 years, you can use 12% annuity factor. Right? 12% annuity factor. ඒක ඉගෙන ගත්තේ කොහෙද? Free school එකේදී ඔය ඉගෙන ගන්න. Investment appraisal කරනකොට same installment එනවනම් you can use annuity factor. 12% annuity factor 2.4 into this. What is that? 1.2 million ROUA. ROUA debit, credit to lease liability. ROUA debit, credit to lease liability. ඒක තේරෙන්න දෙන්න ගන්න එහෙම නැත්තම් කියලා. Both the outputs, both parties looks. දැන් ඔයා බලනකොට මේක ඇඳ ගන්න හදනනම් පුතේ තේරෙන්නේ නැතුව අඳින්න බෑ. මෙතන ඩොට් එකක් පිරලා මෙතන ඉරක් ගහලා මෙතන මේක දාලා එහෙම ඇඳ ගන්න බෑ. You understand? සමහර කට්ටිය විදියට පස්සට මෙහෙම අඳිනවා. මෙතන ඉරක් තියෙනවා. මෙතන ඩොට් එකක් තියෙනවා. එහෙම කරන්න එපා. අඳින්න යන්න එපා බෝඩ් එක. Better to stop that. You don't try to draw this kind of a picture in your get understand and write it. Right? You have recorded ROUA. Then what you are going to do? You are supposed to record the rent expense. Rent, once you are doing rent payment, this is a rent payment. Cash, credit, debit here. Cash, debit, credit here. Rent income, right? Once you are paying rent, 0.5, 0.5, lease liability debit. එතකොට මේක අවුරුදු 3ට වාට තේරෙනවද 0.5 කියලා වැටෙනවා කියලා? තේරෙනවද? ඇයි අවුරුදු 3ට 500,000 තමයි pay කරන්නේ. එතකොට වාට තේරෙනවා 0.5 වැටෙනකොට මේ පැත්ත tally වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට 1.5 වෙනවා මේ පැත්ත. මේ පැත්ත දෙන්නේ 1.2. එතකොට මොකද වැටෙන්නේ ඕන annual interest එක වැටෙනවා. එතකොට තමයි මේ balance වෙලා යන්නේ මේ account. Annual interest එක කීයද? 0.144. 0.144 credit here, debit to interest expense. Right? Interest expense. දැන් අපේ වෙනස මොකද්ද? කලින් විදිහත් එක්ක. කලින් අපි recognize කරගත්තේ rent expense එක විතරයි. දැන් අපි rent expense එකක් මේක recognize කරගන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද recognize කරන්නේ? Lease expense. Sorry, interest expense. Okay? Then so you are having depreciation here. This ROU asset should be depreciated. Then ROU asset depreciation 1.2 million divided by 3 for 3 years. Right? Depreciation debit, credit to account. Right? This is how you have recorded in the subsidiary books. Subsidiary books. One of the main parts to know ROUA asset, depreciation and interest expense. ROUA asset, depreciation and interest expense. And the tax payment. Why items be recorded? If you are having do the count, then credit ROU. After that, this interest, right? Lease interest. Lease interest. See. Debit here, credit here. It's operating lease interest. Debit here, credit here. What are the P&L charges here? මේ දෙක තමයි P&L charge එක. මෙන්න මේ දෙක තමයි අවුරුද්දේ P&L එක charge එක. මේ amount එකයි මේ amount එක තමයි P&L එක charge. Calculated. What is the liability? 1.2 into 12%. Liability into 12%. කලින් P&L charge වෙච්ච amount එකයි දැන් P&L charge වෙන amount එකයි අතර පොඩි සම්බන්ධයක් තියෙනවා නේ. කලින් මොකද කරේ? දැන් SLFR 16 එන්න කලින් මේ මුකුත් නැහැ. මොකද කරේවා? rent එක ගෙවනකොට මොකද කරේ? cash credit, rent expense debit. කොහොමද rent expense debit කරේ? 5 lakhs. අතේල කියන එක. මෙයා rent income දානකොට what may be the rent expense, cash credit, rent expense, P&L debit, rent expense, right? P&L debit, rent expense. P&L hit is how much? 5 lakhs. How about now P&L hit? Depreciation 4, right? Interest 1.44. Altogether, you can see very nearby 500,000, right? Nearby 500,000. Okay. So these are the entries passed by both parties, right? Parent entity, rent income. Subsidiary entity, very complicated. What they have passed? ROUA asset, related rent expense, cash payment, ROU depreciation, and everything we have now. Right? Again, repeating myself, ROU asset. From Daladin, within ROU asset. ROU asset. ඒකට depreciation මෙති ඒකට interest මෙති මෙතින් මොකක්ද cash payment double entry කිව්වොත් කොහමද ROU asset double entry මොකක්ද ROUA asset debit credit to lease liability related interest expense debit credit to lease liability මෙතින් entry සමාන පද යා කිරීම. දැන් මොන චිත්‍රයෙන් දෙපැත්තේ ලේසි. මේක මේකට යා කරා. right? මේක මේකට යා කරා. මේක මේකට යා කරලා. ඊට පස්සේ cash payment. Debit here liability මේක යා කරන්න එකක් නැහැ. ඇයි? මේක යා කරන්න එකක් නැත්නම් මේක දාලා තියෙන්නේ මොකද? ඒ කම්පැනි එකේ cash book එක. දැන් ඒකත් අත ගන්න. cash book එකේ credit. Debit here. Right? ඒක තමයි මෙහෙට ගියේ. Parent cash ආවා. Parent cash debit credit here. Right? And then depreciation. ROU as a depreciation. Debit here. We have no other credit account. Accumulated ROU depreciation account. Oh, this account you can put here. This one. මෙතන දාගත්තාට යා කරන්න. You can match. So these are the entries passed by subsidiary companies for ROUA. Still we haven't discussed any consolidated adjustment. This is ROU asset as well as IFRS 16. Now we need to eliminate these entries now, right? We are supposed to eliminate these entries. First, what we have to do? Eliminate the your liability account and the asset account. Liability account and asset account. Right? Your lease liability debit credit to ROU asset. Your lease liability debit credit to ROU asset. You set off lease liability versus ROUA asset. Lease liability versus ROUA. right? මේ asset එක liability එක set off කරන්න. right? දැන් ඔය චිත්‍රය අඳපු කට්ටියට බැරි වෙනවා. ROU asset to liability, and then you are remaining with these two accounts, right? This account and this account. Account දෙකේ තියෙන මොනවද? debit balance එක. How much? 500,000. 500,000 credit, debit to here. Then whole entry set it off. We have short-term rate and long-term rate. Short-term rate and long-term. Short-term rate. Short-term rate should be eliminated. Be eliminated. And then consolidation. And consolidation. As an independent service. As an independent service. As an independent service. Discuss about it. I think discuss about discuss about. If it is a short-term rate, means less than 1 year, count as intercompany service. Right? If it is a long-term rate, if it is a long-term rate, long-term. Can be identified. For investment properties and other assets. Investment properties and other assets. In both scenarios, the lessee. In both scenarios, the lessee. Both scenarios, the lessee. Lessor and lessee. Lessor, lessee. They have the parties who are giving the rent lessor. The CV for party getting that. This is should recognize ROU way, is liability, interest expense and interest expense and interest expense and ROU depreciation. ROU depreciation. Lessor should recognize rent income in their business. If it is a property, lessor recognize that as an IP. Lessor recognize that as IP. It's just a property, right? At the point of consolidation, I don't use asset. ROU should be set off with this liability. And the ROU depreciation and interest expense should be eliminated with ROU depreciation and this interest be eliminated. Rent income recognized by the parent company. Rent income recognized by the parent company. එන්න මේක තමයි ඒ කිව්වේ. Rent income recognized by the parent company. Then the recognized IP, the recognized IP should be categorized PP and E. Because this as one single entity, no rented property. All properties were used for admin or management purposes. All properties were used for admin or management purposes. If subsidiary company renting out for long-term purpose. Same approach will be used. Same approach will be used in both parties. That's it about competitiveness. Once you are doing some certifications, and immediately don't worry about that complexity. But you are solving this, that you really understand what's happening. It's a matter of understanding the scenarios. As I mentioned here, we have different scenarios, right? rent, short-term rent, long-term rent. Short-term rent is like a service. Long-term rent will be IP or other asset. IP will be parent or subsidiary. Other asset, no classification difference, right? Other asset, only ROUA reversal. ROU reversal is the rent extent. Your other asset always recognize that as a PP&E, right? This is already recognized that as a PP. No change, right? So you should have a proper understanding about this. Intercompany rent included these scenarios. Examiner can say whatever the possible scenario, maybe a rent type of a service, short-term rent, it will be other asset, it will be IP. IP එක කව තමයි complexity එක. Right? IP also can be tested from parent side or subsidiaries. If you remember that. IP also can be tested from parent side or subsidiary side. Whatever instance, you need to reverse ROUA. This side will be allocated rent, expense, right? And please make sure to reclassify IP to PPN. IP to PPN is investigation. The critical entry is supposed to be. Right? That's it about intercompany rent. Okay. The next topic, intercompany. Okay. Other religions, wants like that I feel that so that have right understand. So you can come back like either well, right? Added all these buildings and everything. And if you are missing these things, critical things, console adjacent, console assignment is console 5 into 6, 30 marks. And sheet 5 marks. Just try. If Ferrari at the end, in the end. Make my expectation. But I have an expectation again 3 all of target marks. We can get targeted. We can learning. The expectation is a 30 minutes now. One implement practical grade 1 to 12 and now get the discussion on it. End of the day. Question is whether we are comfortable with the consolidation up to now or not. Take an answer that you know, but admission or not. But waiting again again. Console may when I come correct. Not complete again. One making again a recording balance. When a lesson they come, maybe console okay, clear and confirm now. But a keyboard Okadila. I am getting it. Otherwise, I can't get it. No. Ready well. Last time. But I'm sure. Yes, at the Karapua. ये सत्य है तो के पास खता कर लगने सत्य दास को कंपनी ना दे भी तीनों पास से दे वाला स्टडी कर रहा हमारे खता कर ये particular you can cover all these things and discuss with your friends, right? And complete all the things we discuss. If you are comfortable, that's expectation. Nothing like coming here and showing evidence and all. If you are comfortable, confirm that to me. Then I need to satisfy with myself, right? Whether you are getting console or not. It's not all about passing the exam or getting marks or getting the degree and the convocation. My expectation is what? Giving consolidation to you all. End of the day, you should learn consolidation, all adjustments, and you should prepare console questions. Console questions. And once you are going for an organization, you should have a capability to prepare consolidation. That's it. The question is that Question is not about the submission, not about the marks, not about the alternate assignment. All these things are very, very minor expectations. So address that outcome and let me know. Are you comfortable with to prepare consolidation? To how, what extent, what did you do? Any confirm kalla, honestly. Aragina will kiya. Wala buta. Huh? Request there. Now lectures sunak there. So come then wala me come observe like adat mission. Also mission. Plus cooperative pending repeat pending. 35 marks allocated to consolidation. Right? We are busy console question. අනිවාර්යෙන් fail කරනවා. ඉතින් මාක්ස් වලට දෙන්නේ නැහැ ලකුණු. console එකේ ලකුණු 10ක්වත් ගත්තේ නැත්නම් ඔය exam එකට පේ. ඒකේ console එකේ 35 ගත්තා කියන්නේ තමයි ස්කෝර් කරොත් maybe 35 out of 100 and then 65 out of 65 if you are at 35 you are not pass the exam. You have to get minimum 10 marks for console. Keep remember that. Consolidation is a core subject of focus. That's why I'm continuously telling you, you have to be in the classroom once you are doing consolidation. So today, I'm going to cover all these adjustments and then step acquisition, step disposal, everything, right? So that's the focus. Focus on your open away. Then while a company together, target is expected for having junior level. Target. You should address it expectation. Big picture of the expectation of the department. Not to get marks from your boss. It's not the expectation. The reality should be identified and focused and delivery. Same you all. I'm getting many emails giving reasons. Yeah, you may have thousands of reasons. Thousands of reasons, but reason can't be replaced to the outcome and expectation. අපි deliver කරන්න තිබුණ audit committee එකට deliver කරන්න ඕන කියලා. Wow, if you are the head of audit, head of CFO, right? You have to deliver something today. The audit committee. You can't send your team. It's a wedding. Only exclusive if you are in the ICU. That's how corporate world happening. That's a requirement. So you can't give any excuses. Address for your organization also say. Let's say you are the boss of your organization. The organization and you are two separate persons. Don't do any harm to your organization. If it is so, what you have to do is you have to look after that organization. As so you can't do any excuses. You can't get money out of the organization. Likewise, you look after that. Need to learn that ethics and all these things. That is not the case. I need some professional world development. One example, okay. Head of legal and compliance. Yeah, that must be right? So here is foreign exposure, and we have a CV for compliance team. She's a managerial level, but she said more than anything else, I want someone with common sense and good attitude. Common sense and good attitude. More than anything else. More than consolidation. More than anything else. They have common sense and good attitude. Common sense to prioritize. Good attitude to deliver. Very important to organizations. common sense එකෙන් බලන්න ඕන කොහොමද? එදා ළමයි අවස්ථාව physically මොනවා හරි try කරා. හරි කරා. ඒක understand කරාද requirement එක. So requirement එක understand කරා. Alternative මට ගිහිලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. මේක ගන්න ඕන මේක ගන්න ඕන. මාක්ස් නේ 30ම නේ 40ක් වෙනවා මාක්ස්. කොයි මාක්ස් නේ අරක ඩාන්ස් එක අරන් ආව මට ඇඩ්මිෂන් ඕනක් නැහැ. I want to know, are you comfortable about all the console things we discussed here and the next plan? And what did you do? මොනවද කරේ ඒකට? යාළුවොත් එක්ක කතා කරාද මොනවද කරේ? මම ඒක චෙක් කරන්න යන්නේ ගාඩ් මට බොරු කියන්න පුළුවන්. It's all about attitude, right? ඒක ආන්සර් එකත් එක්ක එන්න. ඒකට ඔක්කොම ගන්නවා. Right? Got it? ඒකට මොකද උනේ? ඇයි එහෙම වෙන්නේ? ඔව් ඇයි ඒකට මෙහෙම වෙන්නේ? දැන් ඒකත් අප්ලෝඩ් කරේ නැහැ. මේකත් ගේන්න බැරි වෙනවා. ඒ මොනවද තියෙන ජොබ් මොනවද ඒකට වඩා ගොඩක් තියෙන ඒවා. ඒක හරි. ඒකත් මිස් වෙලා දැන් මේකත් කන්සෝල් එක.
අම්මගේ බේසිස් විදිහට ගන්න අටෙන් කරනවා. ඒක තමයි මෙසේජ් එක දෙන්නේ.
Yes, that's all right. There are those are very sensitive situations. Yeah. How about this console question?
So, console security testing exam. Is it also an exam?
Now, second time. For this one, we have the medical situation with the relations. This time, exam. Right? No. All assignments, no. Two critical assignments, there are two reasons, right? In the life, don't give any reason. Right? You have to believe. Let's say you have the exam, right? You have the exam. Then what you should do is, at the same time, if you have the exam, right? You're supposed to come to SAP after the exam and hand over to maybe other, reception or maybe security person or maybe the exam division. You can submit that to the exam, right? That's one option. Or else, you know the room we are doing the class, right? If you can come early here, maybe before the exam will be start maybe 8:30. Then 7:30 here. Keep the assignment here. Put a short note. Sir, I'm going for exam. I'm keeping this for you. The second one. There are millions of ways to deliver something rather giving a excuse. Right?
If you're my friend, then you can't.
Yeah, it is not sending through a friend. It is not accepted. Yeah, it is option, but you need to ensure that is that valid option or not. Right? Again and again, I'm telling you, there are thousands of ways. If you remember that, all these things relate to your overall personality. If you remember that, it should be turned around. If you have a relation, maybe not the grandmother and grandparent, maybe parents, right? Maybe you.
That's for parents.
Yeah. So if that time, maybe you may not have connection. Maybe a rural hospital, right? There are maybe thousands of reasons. I can understand the situations. These days, dengue maybe there are different issues, maybe there. You may have connectivity issues. We have different options. You should plan. So if it is an urgent accident, you may have no option. Otherwise, if it is a ongoing process of taking medicine, so you can put someone else and you can come here and give it. So different ways are there. So if it is getting a deadline, you should go out and a place you are having connectivity, then upload it on time. There's no excuse. Excuses. Normally, audit committees giving deadlines. If you are not submitting materials before 10 working days, you will hammered in the audit committee. No excuse. කියන්න බෑ. පාට කියන්න පුළුවන් දෙයි. audit committee එකට මට මේ candidate වෙලා හිටියේ personal circulation. If you are telling that, ඔයාගේ ඊළඟ performance cycle එකේ ඔයා එළි. right? ඔයා දැන් එහෙම excuses දෙකක් 6 months. ඔයා ලියලා තියාගන්න in your life I'm not giving any excuses for outcome. Any excuses for the outcome. මේක ඔයාගේ life කියලා ලියලා තියන්න. මම මේ පරීක්ෂා ගත්ත මේකේදී වාහනයක් ගන්නවා කියලා. ඔයාගේ excuses දෙන්න එපා. මට මේක නිසා මේක කරගන්න. මේක තමයි. If you have determined it, do it. Those are the things we need to learn. How much තමයි කරන්නේ? So I'm having many commitments. Year at 4ට නිදාගෙන ඉඳලා තියෙනවා. මේ නැතුව 4ට නිදාගෙන ඉඳලා තියෙනවා. 4 o'clock I went to the bed, right? I'm do this. I late. I late to not dinner also. ඒකත් හැබැයි ඒක excuse එකක් නෙමෙයි. ඒකට උඩ ඒ impact එක බාර ගන්න ready. I'm not giving any excuse. Right? මේ additional කරලා හරි ඔයාලා syllabus cover කරනවා. console කරනවා step by step. That my duty. ඒක හරියට කරනවා. All හරියට ready වෙලා ඉන්නවා. So you can get maximum out of that through this thing. That's the expectation. මේක හොඳට focus කරලා ඉන්න. ඒක තමයි මම කියන්නේ. It's not about marks. It's not about not participating. The reality is whether you are getting cooperative or not. It's marks. Marks උන්නම් කියනවා pass කරලා දාන්න. End of the day, once you're going to interview company premises, or නිකම්ම ඕන වෙලා කෙලින්ම මේ වෙන යන්න. ඒකට වායතෙන්ට ගිහිල්ලා first 6 months වල reasons තුනක් කිව්වම you are not extending the probation. Think about that. You are giving 3 reasons for 3 outcomes, right? That's the end of your life. If remember that once you are going to the corporate world, don't give any excuse. No excuses. It may be excuses in government sector, holidays, right? Make holidays in private sector. Or deliver. Deliver කරාට පස්සේ ඔන්න ඕන තරම් enjoy කරන්න. මට ගොඩාක් සල්ලි හම්බුනේ. ඒ විදිහට හිතන්න. එතන ඔක මේව කරලා මට ගෙනත් දෙන්න. බලන්න මේ බලන්න. one දෙනාටම 35 marks දෙන assignment වලට. satisfied වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම satisfied වෙන්න බෑ. Question is not that. අපේ grade 1 වල ඉඳලා වගේ තාම marks percent දුවන. marks නෙවෙයි. earning per share පුළුවන්. segment පුළුවන්. Can you do the segment? Can you do now earning per share? Question is that. දැන් මෙහෙම ඉන්නේ මිස් කරගෙන full lecture එකක් නැතුව assignment එකේ අන්තම් දාලා අන්තිමට කාගෙන් හරි අහගෙන lecture එකට ඇවිල්ලා අන්තම් පාස් degree කරගෙන අන්තම් රට යන්න. ඔන්න plan එක. If you are in that plan, or රට ගිහිල්ලා අනිවාර්යෙන් ඉක්මනට මෙන්න තෝරන වෙනවා. Right? Here you may have people who are doing perfectly this degree. They are follow them. Your friends, right? They are the people who are respecting their lives, their families. They are doing perfectly, right? They are getting maximum. They are doing the same practice once they are going for job. Or job එකට ගියත් එහෙමයි. වාටත් එහෙමයි කරගන්න. whole degree එක මෙහෙම. අනිත් teachers එකත් එහෙමයි. ඒක තමයි මම එහෙම හිතන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙමද කියලා වාහුවක් අහලා බලන්න. Right? So please make sure to change that behavioral element. That's not all about make up marks up දෙන්න. marks දෙන්න ඕනද? වල තුන් දෙනා මට තමයි මට හොඳට. marks අඩු වුණොත් assignment වල මම අතින් දාලා 35 කරලා දෙන්න. Don't worry about that. My question is whether you're comfortable with consolidation or not. ඒක මට ensure කරන්න අපේ සතිය කියලා ටික දෙන්න. Okay? Okay. ඒක මම ගන්නවා කමක් නැහැ. It's okay. Right. Sorry. I didn't get you. Yes. But I didn't get you. Okay. Okay. Alright. And the other Torah that missing. To see. So maybe you are having any task. Many tasks you are not having. See, I'm giving another detailed lecture, right? So you are having many. That's good. I really like to do sports, right? Respect. I also doing sports, right? Always respect. I'm giving more leaves for sports, right? I'm giving once my team members in my office team, if they are participating in mercantile or any sports events, I'm giving free leaves, right? But we need to prioritize this. Think about what's happening. Once you are having schedules like that, once you are doing it, all other lectures, what's happened, then you can, from earning per share to agriculture to all these lectures. Are you comfortable on this? I don't think so. Oh, the mama didn't answer. Then it's happening. Happy. Normally, how you are coming to lectures and you are staying here, boarding place. So, okay. So, dalam bidala may ඇවිල්ලා ලොකු ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකක් කරලා
හරි ෆෝකස් එකකින් ලෑබ් කරලා මේක කරේ නැත්නම් මානවයිද ඔස්සේ අපිට සොසයිටි එකම ලොස් එකක් නේ. ඔයාලා පුතලම් වලට මොනවා හරි ලොකු දෙයක් ගෙනියන්න මේක ආව. අප් ඇන්ඩ් ඩවුන් යන එක දැන් සොසයිටි එකට ලොකු දෙයක් කරනවා. මේ ඩිග්‍රී අරගෙන તો රට ගිහිල්ලා ඒකෝ ඒ ක්ලාසස් කරන්න ඒකෝ ලෙක්චර් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ලොකු ප්ලෑන් එකක පිච් එකකින් පොඩි ඒවට ඒවල බැංක් ප්‍රෙසිඩන්ට්ලා නම් මේවා නම් වල ලොකු දෙයක් කරන්න big fish in small tank පුත්තලම් කියන්නේ small tank එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් big fish කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕනේ ඒක කරන්න ඕන ඔය චූටි දේවල් නේ ආවේ ફોකස් එකෙන් මේකට යන්න ඕන ඩිග්‍රී හෝල්ඩර් කෙනෙක් විදිහට ලස්සන ලොකු දෙයක් කරන්න ඒක ඒ කාලේ කරපු පොඩි දේවල් ඒ ફોකස් එකෙන් කරන්නේ කරන්න ඉන්නේ බල හරින්නේ ordinary expectations and pictures වල කියලා තමයි මට හිතෙන්නේ. ඒ වයින් පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. මොකද කමියුනිටි එකට සර්විස් එකක් දෙන්නේ, සොසයිටි එකට මේකක් දෙන්නේ. මොකද මේ පැත්තේ ළමයින්ට ලොකු ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. Educational gaps, whatever the language barriers, and many difficulties may be there. So try to make a large project to know all this මොනහරි කරන්න. ඒකෙම temporary මොනහරි දෙන එකක් නෑ. But to be a very responsible person now. So ඒකෙදි ඔයාලා meeting අරන් යන learning සමහරට ඒකට participate වෙන එක event do but ඒකම නෙවෙයි service එක. ඒක තමයි මට හිතෙන්නේ ඉතින් බලන්න. හරි ඉතින් අද ගිහිල්ලා අර ප්‍රොපෝසල් එක නම් දෙන්න. but අපි මේ console sales intercompany sales කියන්නේ the way I am explaining I don't think that any consultation lecture will explain like that. Like a miss කරගන්නවා කියන්නේ අසෑහෙන්න ලොකු දෙයක් තමයි මිස් කරන්නේ. Intercompany sales. Intercompany sales. It is very, very critical. In between හිතන්න overall degree, fourth year, third year corporate reporting is a critical, most critical subject because it's accountancy, accounting related degree, applied accounting, right? All accounting related, accounting, financial reporting, corporate reporting is a core subject in the degree. Under that core subject, consolidation is a core part. Under consolidation, console adjustments are the core part. Under console adjustment, intercompany sale is the most critical adjustment that will be done after the country. But all I again is චුට්ටක් බලන්න බල කොතනද කොහේද ගන්න ඉන්නේ කොච්චර වැඩගත් දේවල්ද මිස් වෙන්නේ. ඒකට ලයිෆ් එකේ තොම වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ලයිෆ් එකේ ගොඩාක් ක්‍රිටිකල් දේවල් අනිත් නැති දේවල් ඔයාලා මිස් වෙනවා. Have a good understanding, good expectation, good reading about what's happening next. Right? So එහෙම තියෙනවා නම් ඔයාලා අද මැච් එකක් වෙනවා. අර ප්‍රෙඩික්ට් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් ඔයාලට කියන්න පුළුවන්. Is reschedule it to tomorrow or the Saturday. Sometimes it's beyond your control. ඒක කරන්න බැරි නම් ඔයාලා හිතන්න පද කරන්න. ඒක තමයි තියෙන ඉම්පෝටන්ස් එක. ඒකයි මම කියන්නේ. නැත්නම් මම කියන්නේ තමයි මාන ෆ්‍රී එකකින් බලන්න. මම ෆ්‍රී එකේ තමයි ඉන්නේ. ඒක බර්න් එකක් දෙන්නේ ස්ට්‍රෙස් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි තියෙන රික්වයර්මන්ට් එක. ඒකයි කියන්නේ. හරි බලන්න කරන්න next week කෙනෙකුට
video
also ඒක වීඩියෝ එකක් පේන්නේ නැහැ නේ වීඩියෝ ලයිව් වෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය වීඩියෝ බලනවා ඒක තමයි තියෙන්නේ ලයිව් වෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය අද මැච් එක ඉවර වෙලා එකතු වෙලා කොන්සෝල් බලන්නේ නැහැ නේ ඒක මම හොඳටම දන්නවා මම බෝල් ගහලා තියෙනවා හොඳ ටේබල් ටෙනිස් ප්ලේයර් කෙනෙක් each and every week I'm doing badminton so I'm හොඳ ස්පෝර්ට්මන් කෙනෙක් ඒකට I know that but a discipline should be there. ඒක කරනවනේ ඇත්තටම කරනවනේ you have something. ඒ කියන්නේ අද මිස් වෙනවා කියන එක කමක් නැහැ. ඔයාලා කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකට next week එකේ toy විදිනවා. මට තව ගොඩාක් වැඩ ඇති. මේ තන ගිහිල්ලා මේ වැඩ ඊළඟ week එකෙත් ඔහොම. එහෙම exam එකට හෙට වෙනකොට ඔය එහෙම. බලන්න self question කරනවා. එහෙම කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් හොඳයි කරලා බලන්න කරන්න. Take my words, right? So change that behavior and take the responsibility. Be responsible. Do this the maximum way. Get maximum out of that. Lectures like වෙලෙන් මෙරි කියලා හරි maximum ගන්න ඕනේ. outcome. හොටෙල් එකකට ගියා. වල එක ගන්න අර අපරාධනේ. ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ. අරන් ගිහිල්ලා සෙල්ලම් කරලා next week එන්න එන්නත් එනවනේ එතකොටනේ. බලන්න කරන්න. හැබැයි ultimately මගේ expectation එක ඉගෙන ගන්න නැති ළමයින්ට කෝපරේට් කරන්න රිපෝටින් ගන්න එක තමයි මට අවශ්‍ය. ඔයාලා ඔය කට්ටිය ජීවිතේ මිස් කරගන්න කට්ටිය කියලා තමයි මම අඳුරගන්නේ. අර ඉඳලා මෙච්චර දුර කොළඹ ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන හරි තැනකට ඇවිල්ලා ඒත් මිස් කරගන්න ඕනේ ලයිෆ්. එහෙනම් කරගන්න එපා please. This life is so responsible and respective, right? ඒක අපි හරියට කරමු. Let's do it in a good manner. Right. Okay. Then all the best for your match. I mean, because we have a high priority over there. I wish all the very best for the match, right? And then I have a chance to wish to the exam as well, comparatively. At the end of the day, I getting failed. It will hit to me as well. මාර්ග දුකයි. ඒ මට මේ පීරියඩ් එක ළමයිට ගයිඩ් කරන්න බැහැ. නිකන් ලෙක්චර් එකට කිව්වා විතරයි. that's pain. ඒක පුතියන්න එපා. බලමු අපේ සතියේ කතා කරමු. සතියේ ඉන්න ඉන්ටර්වල් එකේ okay. full console පුළුවන් වෙන adjustment පුළුවන්. කරගත්තේ මොනවද? ඔයාලා ඩිස්කෂන් එකක් තිබුණාද මේ යාළුවොත් එක්ක? ගණන් ටික හැදුවොත් මට පොත් පෙන්නන්න මේව කරලා මට දෙන්නකෝ කම්ෆර්ට් එකක් console පුළුවන්ද කියලා. Then and there I am satisfied. I want to see that. Otherwise, අන්තිමට මම රැවටිලා නැහැ නේද? වා ඩබල් චීට් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒක කරගන්න එපා. So let's make it very positive, right? That's the expectation. Okay. Okay. Yeah.